Okay, I think that'll about do it. Hello. Hello, hello. I've actually made it 2 days in a row. Very, very cool. So, whoops, no, you don't need to see that. That's part of my microphone setup. So what I am doing today, pardon the slight post-nasal drip, is after streaming yesterday, I came back downstairs because my wife went to go do some Dungeons and Dragons with some friends. And, I had been gifted Warhammer, the Cursed City board game, very, very luckily by the gentleman whose commission painting I'm doing. And I decided on a whim to go ahead and download and print out an organizer for the board game. And I figured, you know what? Since I'm down here already, how about I also put together the minis? So that is what I have been working on. And I've decided I'm going to continue working on that while I am down here again today, while my wife plays some more Dungeons and Dragons with her friends. So yeah, they have some really cool minis if you have not seen them already. Pardon the post-nasal drip. The temperature is really messing with my sinuses a bit. But as you can see, these guys are super detailed. They are super cool. These are two of the bosses. I don't know much about the game, to be honest, but I'm very excited to play. Because as far as I can tell, it's a group of heroes venturing into a city that is besieged by the undead and by a vampiric lord. And so I'm very excited to give this game a shot, because it's the exact kind of game that I'd want to play. It's the exact kind of game I'd like to try. So I'm really looking forward to getting my chance to do that. And in the meantime, before I even get started, I've got to go ahead and really put these minis together, because there's a lot of them, and clean them up to the best of my ability, so that when I eventually paint them, they look fan-freaking-tastic, right? So, I'm in the process right now of putting together some of the bosses. Like, here's another one. This guy used to be, I guess, Captain of the Guard, and now he's a Skeleman, and he looks freaking awesome. It's a great pose, it's really dynamic. I'm very much in love with these minis right now. I've already put the heroes together, and I was so excited last night that when I did it, I messed up. And I put the big bruiser hero on a 50mm base, which he does not belong on. I figured since he was so big that this is where he goes, but it turns out I am wrong. He belongs on a 40mm base, even though, I mean, you can see this one clearly fits him well. So, I've got to find a way to get him off the base, given that I super glued him on, and that way this base can be used for the appropriate model, which is a giant beastie that is supposed to go on here. So I will get around to that eventually. Not today, though. I have seen and heard that a great way to, like, knock the super glue off is to put it in the freezer or refrigerator. Hey, good evening, Star-Lord. How's it going? And that will kind of break up the integrity of the super glue that's holding him in. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and do that. Is put him in the freezer and see if I can break the super glue bond that I did when I glued him to the base he doesn't belong on. So I got gifted, kind of, Cursed City as part of a trade. And, excuse me one moment. I'm having some really bad allergy issues because of the sudden moisture we're having in my area. Excuse me. But I'm so excited to work with these guys that I've decided I'm just going to start constructing them. So I've been doing it off stream. I did this yesterday, and I'm continuing with the process today. So unfortunately, no real painting is going to happen. But oh, here's where I saved. But I am going to get to put together these super cool minis. Right now, I'm going to work on Virkos Bloodborne, who I think is some kind of vampire character that is going to go up on pillar, which I think is super neato. So he gets a 32mm base. I figured he'd get a 40. It looks like he gets a 30, and he's got two little angry friends to help him who will also get a 30. So we've got this ridiculous remainder of a sprue, and I'll go ahead and get to work on that. I've never put together a model on stream, so we're going to see how well or how poorly this goes, given that I've got to kind of rejigger how I'm holding everything. Right? That can go over there. 24. That's this one right here. Hey, Isidore, good to see you again. It's been a while because I've not been well. And I'm finally feeling good enough to stream a little more regularly. You know, right before the holidays when I'll be real busy. And I figured I'd go ahead and give it a shot. I've made it 2 consecutive days, and I'm super proud of myself. I've actually been looking into Curse City Minis myself. My name is pronounced Gosu. Very cool. Hey, Gosu, how's it going? I was given this. I have a... there was a gentleman in my city that wanted some commission work done, and he also found out that I helped sponsor a tabletop gaming club at the school I work at, and was like, hey, I've got all sorts of games, and thank you. I try to be big chill. I just ramble incoherently and about everything, and hopefully it's super chill, and you guys have a lot of fun just kind of vibing. But he offered to give me Curse City because maybe that could be a game that the kids could play. And I've wanted Curse City for quite a while. I know very little about it outside of it being Warhammer. I'm more of a 40k player. But I'll be honest, these minis are really, really enticing. I kind of wanted to get into Sigmar, but didn't really have anyone to play with. And this is really making me want to get into Sigmar. I love the sci-fi aesthetic of 40k, but these Sigmar minis just slap so very hard. And as always, Games Workshop sculpts are second to none here. So even if I don't end up playing, I'm gonna have these apparently just really cool minis to have and paint. Generally, I play, you know, like I said, I play 40k, and I've got a couple of armies for that. And I recently downsized because I realized I had a ton that I just wanted nothing to do with anymore. But unfortunately for me, I've had a windfall of other minis to pick up. And I was recently gifted this. Hey Lilith, nice to see you. I like learning the lore of Warhammer, never cared to play. Our Lord and Savior Nagash, or Lord and Sailor. I'm not sure if that was a typo. Nagash is so freaking cool. I don't know much about him. I've been really impressed with the bits of lore I've seen come out of Age of Sigmar. And I do know that the army that immediately appealed to me when I started looking at Age of Sigmar was I really vibe with the Night Haunt. And I think a lot of that just had to do with the fact that when I was playing Magic the Gathering, I was playing a blue-white spirits list, and I saw the Night Haunt, and I went, welp, I guess I'm going Ghost again. So, I tried Warhammer Fantasy Lore is what got me into Warhammer like 4 years ago. Not big into Age of Sigmar, but the models are awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Warhammer Fantasy Lore. I do feel bad for the fans that were really into it because of, you know, how they kind of stumbled with ending it for Age of Sigmar. But, yeah, I think Games Workshop made the best business decision they could at the time. But yeah, I do love the models. I kind of like the fact a lot that the models are becoming these great little sculptures now. And didn't help Warhammer End Times was hot trash leading into Age of Sigmar. That's pretty unfortunate. That was my understanding, is they really fumbled the ball with how they ended Age of Sigmar to lead into, or how they ended Fantasy to lead into Age of Sigmar. I do know, yeah, I was upset about that. I love the fantasy books, and I learned what they did, and then I went all in on Horus Heresy. Ooh, what chapter do you, or what legion do you play? Horus Heresy, I kind of want to really get into. The novels really, really made me into a Warhammer fan. I was kind of halfway into it beforehand, and I was playing Tau and collecting those models, but then I started reading the Horus Heresy on the recommendation of another friend who was into Warhammer, and Iron Warriors, I saw the Imperial Fist logo on my avatar. Yeah, that means we can't be friends, but only because you'll just kick my ass every time we see each other. I love the fists, but they are just the punching bag of the Imperium at times. If I had to care about Warhammer 40k, I'm a basic bitch, would have to go with the orcs. There is nothing wrong with the orcs, Lilith. They are the absolute best. Did you see that was I here? Was everything here when I did my my Akira slide orc? Have you guys seen that? I love the fist. The first ever model I painted was a fist for 40k. See, I found out about them because of Rogel Dorn on If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device, and I was just like, I vibe with this character so hard. I have to be the fists. I can't not be the fists. I fear painting the chevrons for an Iron Warriors army, but getting to see Perturabo just style so hard during the siege was a real high point of those books. I very much enjoyed it. The only faction, the only legion that I'm not overly fond of is the Night Lords, and even then I understand their appeal because they're just so deliciously evil, and that's really freaking cool. The Tau. What little I learned about the Tau, where I think you'd be with them. Yeah, the Tau are pretty cool too. I kind of wish they had kept them as the ill-fated optimists, because they went ahead and, you know, made them not so. Okay, I need 27 and 26. Look at that spindly little sword. That's absolutely amazing. There we go. And 26. I am so incredibly impressed with the just incredibly tiny details they're able to get with these plastic bits. The molding process just blows my mind. Okay, now how am I going to get this piece off without slicing a finger? Pray with me. Pray to Nagash. Pray. Well, actually, Nagash would probably want me dead, but pray to whoever Warhammer deity you need to pray to make sure I don't lose a thumb. There we go. I think my cat has gotten into... what are they called? Not Jolly Ranchers. I forget what they're called. It doesn't... If you want them as ill-fated, you got Commander Farsight. Yeah, and speaking of Commander Farsight, that new model they put out for him last year. Holy crap! I sold all my Tau right before they put that out there because I just realized I wasn't having fun playing the army. But it's like, I don't need the army to buy that Commander Farsight model. I need that Commander Farsight model. And I got really lucky, and I managed to download and find a proxy that someone made that was remarkably loyal to the original one. And I've just been kind of building up my courage to print it, because it got taken down very quickly because it was just a little bit too loyal. But it's like, I want to print it and paint it, and I want to do that as a practice run for when I buy the actual model, because that Commander Farsight model goes so hard. Okay. Come on. See, I have purposely made life difficult on myself, as any good Imperial Fist player does, by making sure this knife is incredibly dull. Which is, you know, how you cut sharp things. Hey, some of Jolies. How's it going, buddy? I see that the Alpha Legion have infiltrated my my stream. That's okay. Okay, how do I get this on here? There's this. What? How do you work? You go on like. So, wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, that goes in like that. Yeah, I'm starting to reach that point now that I've found the army that I do want to play. I really like playing the Imperial Fists. I'm not too worried about tournament grinding and win percentages and whatnot. I just like having the yellow cheese wall and playing it that way. So I found that army, and it's all hunky-dory. But I just now am collecting really cool minis at this point. My Night Watch, I love this. Yeah, the Skaven are great. I'm assuming you went Night Haunt instead of Night Watch. But yeah, I love the Night Haunt. The Skaven are the best thing about all Warhammer, as far as I'm concerned. And yes, Hydra Dominatus. It's a good time. And actually, Semajolies, we talked about this a while ago about novels to read. Another good one, if you want some good Alpha Legion shenanigans, would actually be, and I forgot about it, is Deliverance Lost, which is more about the Raven Guard. Oh no, it's falling apart. But the Alpha Legion play a very prominent role in that book. And the best thing, spelling is hard for... Yeah, no, it's fine. I try and spell properly and have good grammar all day because I'm an English teacher, and it just doesn't work. The kids get a kick out of it because they're like, you're the English teacher, how are you messing this up? And it's just, you know, we're human, right? We all make mistakes. We all have off days. You shouldn't feel bad because you screwed up. And so they get that little lesson. By far, I can do this. I promise you guys, I can do this. It's been a long day, but I know for a fact that I can make round peg go in round hole. Maybe. Mayhaps. Mayhaps not. This is the only problem I have with these models, is sometimes they have this weird little half fit that goes in, and it doesn't quite work. And then you've got to be super careful. Am I putting this in the wrong thing? No, it's the right thing. I think? Am I putting it at the wrong angle? What's going on here? Why is round peg not going in round hole? I hate the half fit. Oh, I got it. Except his arm is out of place. No! That had to be slotted in there. Oh no. Oh no, look at how kludgy it is now. Okay. Goodbye, friend. Let's try this again. Okay. But yeah, Deliverance Lost is great for one reason and one reason only. The Raven Guard are the Raven Guard. They're fine for what they are. It did make me like them a little more, but by far the greatest thing in that entire book is the Alpha Legion infiltrating, like, a factory, and in the process, they see, like, an elderly tech priest lady making her way down a flight of stairs with her servitor bodyguards. And, yes, that was a minor tragedy, wasn't it? And they decide they've got to get rid of her, so they just grab the old lady and throw her off the stairs. And that bit just had me in tears. But yeah, see, this is the one thing that I've been struggling with putting together the Age of Sigmar, guys, is you've got to find just the absolute sweet spot angle, or else everything doesn't quite fit. And there we go. Look at that. Perfection. I got it. Now let's add a little bit more. Not that much. A little bit more plastic cement to fuse everything all together. And maybe fuse this to his hand so that way he doesn't free float off. And then we shall be good to go. I am building Warhammer Cursed City minis. These are the bosses. This is the sort of the Soul Blight, I think they're called. So like the vampire characters. This is one of the lieutenants of the main boss. I've got him over on another, like, storage area that I'm trying to mess with. All my loyalty to the god of undeath has nothing to do with one of his generals being a vampire queen, and I'm totally not a raging lesbian. That's absolutely fair, Lilith. I think there's just a subtle little hint, Lilith, with some part of your profile, Lilith, that tells me that you really like the vampires, Lilith. But yeah, no, the Soul Blight and Nagash and the Death faction are all freaking awesome. Okay, so that's all good. Yeah, one moment, let me go find them. So the big bad of this set, Semajoli's, is this guy. He's a vampire lord with like a slain direwolf pelt, and he just looks really neat. I'm in love with these models. They're all so detailed, and even though they're mono pose, it's allowed them to have some really cool dynamic poses. I'm very excited to eventually start playing this game with friends. Okay, what's next? He needs a head. C28. Oh no. Benry forgot how to count. Where's C28, guys? Help me out here. There are so many. There are so many, and there's no rhyme or reason. Oh, there it is. Okay. This one right here with the super long is C28. So something you can do, if you struggle with leaving little bits on the actual model, is cut away from the nubbin, and then shave the nubbin off with a little bit left over and your hobby knife. And just go at it gradually. Don't try and hack it all off at once, or you're going to end up with some really cool divots in your thumb that you're not going to like the next morning. That's a pretty regular mistake. You wish they numbered the sprues better? Yeah. You definitely don't want to have not at all. Some of their older stuff was not at all, and it's miserable. But yeah, I wish that they would number the sprues a little better. I have noticed, actually, more recently, some of the newer sculpted stuff, the numbering system makes a lot more sense, and it all fits together a whole lot better. Like the Leviathan stuff, which I don't think you got to mess with too much. I mean, you saw it with the Tyranids, but the Space Marine Leviathan stuff was fantastic. The Wraith Lord from my combat patrol didn't have numbers. Luckily he's very logically. Yeah. Or Eldar. I mean, I guess I get it. The Eldar were bad for a while, and then suddenly they were way too good, but oh my god, I can't wait to paint these guys. They're so cool. I know they're all push fit, and that should be enough, but I like that little extra bit of security. Look at this. Look at this lad. Tell me that ain't just a freaking cool model. Great model. A+ GW. I also like, Goofus and Gallant that they've got here. I showed them earlier, but like these giant, I don't know what they are exactly, but they're just great. They're very much undead, very clearly. They've got a key keeper with a little rat that's helping him with his job. I love these two so much. They're a pair that you have to fight at some point in the game. Excuse me, I apologize. Next one, let's do one of his derpy little friends. C32 and C33. What have we got here? I also can't wait to do this guy, because he's popping a sick ollie with that coffin. 32 and 33. Where am I going? What's happening? There's 32. I can't believe they managed to get these blades so spindly. They're ridiculously thin. Okay, and they're... Look at 33! It's just an arm and a head! That is absolutely fantastic. A+, guys. That's been my favorite thing, is finding, like, the hidden bits where you can clearly see that they connected them so that you had a good mold. A good connector. But my goodness, do they look stupid. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Look at this guy. I kind of just want to make a mold of him so I could make, like, 5 of these and just have them, you know, on their own bases, like on top of skulls or something. This mini is fantastic. Okay, come on. But yeah, I'm actually taking a break from commission painting specifically to put these together because I've got the ball rolling and I kind of want to be done. I have a weird love-hate relationship with assembling in that I love assembling, but only a limited amount. After a while, it gets mind-numbing. But yeah, I was given an assortment of other minis to paint, some of them from Blackstone Fortress, to pay for this, basically. He was like, hey, can you paint like 8-9 minis and we'll call it even? And honestly, I feel like that's highway robbery because it does not take me that long to paint that many minis. But I'm not going to say no. I've told him over and over again, I'll paint more for you. But he was like, no, I feel like I'm taking advantage of you at 8 minis, so... I tried to stop by and give you the Farseer, but I'd already left. Yeah, we left pretty rapidly after the bell rang. So we'll just have to find time to get together during this little vacation we've got, and then I can go ahead and get to it with that. I can't wait to paint him. Depending on the color combination that you want, I can do some really cool things with the cloth. Speaking of, some of the other stuff I've painted. Okay. Painted this guy a few days ago. Really happy with how he turned out. I like that all the color is very legible on this guy. I'll paint the base eventually, but right now, this is what I've got. I think it all turned out real nice. Read Repulsa inspiration. Oh, that would look great on a Farseer. Because she's got that maroon, that like brown maroon robe and like the gold trim. That would look phenomenal. And then I've got this guy. I showed this one to Semajoli's. He's a co-worker of mine. Oh yeah, and the blue helmet. It would look fantastic. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how these all turned out. And right now, what I was working on yesterday, that headpiece, right, is this guy. And I'm not done with him yet. I've got a lot more to add to give him some real nice depth. But this is the servitor from the game, and I can't wait to finish this guy up because he already looks fantastic. So, okay, let's fuse. I really don't want to. It's so good by itself. I don't want. Oh dear, how does this? How does this does? Oh, I see. It, okay. I suppose... Oh man, that's... Okay. Okay, that suddenly makes a lot more sense. Okay. Except it doesn't fit. Is he supposed to have something over him? Oh no. Oh no, he's not. Oh no, he's not. Okay, see you later, Lilith. Have a great evening. Oh, there we go. I just need to snap his neck a little bit. There we go. Now... What a great model. I should not be getting this much joy out of messing with these guys. Especially since they're so incomplete. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and line this all with plastic cement and push on it real good and hope that that fuses everything together. I hate the spindly snap together pieces. I know, right? It's just kind of this feeling of, how am I gonna break you today? What horrible mistake am I gonna make? Starburst, that's what they're called. So I adopted a new kitten named Tuna, for those who don't know, and he has become a lot more of a troublemaker than my other cat, who seemed to be pretty good at ignoring things when they were on the counter, and was very good about not knocking stuff over. Tuna is the opposite, and he will go out of his way to knock stuff over. So I think my wife unpackaged a bunch of like little snack packs of Starbursts and put them in a bowl. And before she went upstairs to do her Dungeons and Dragons, she said, "Tuna, I'm trusting you not to mess with this bowl." And based on the sounds I'm hearing, I'm almost positive that Tuna right now has pulled a Starburst out of the bowl and is just knocking it around. So at some point, I'm going to have to address that. C29, C30, and C31. Okay. Because I can just hear that little tinkle-tinkle of it being pushed around. I went up there earlier and found him with one of the lime-flavored ones. Which I guess is fine, because neither of us like the lime-flavored ones. But, he shouldn't be doing that. Okay, let's see. Can I get you without taking off a finger? Yes, I can. You too. And the bottom one. There we go. So let's see. Okay, no, that one's got the nubbin. Okay, so this can be sliced on here. So I guess what this means is at some point you have to fight a trio of vampires. Soulblight Gravelords, that's what they're called. I was trying to remember what the second half of their name was, because I pretty clearly remembered Soulblight, but I couldn't remember what the second part was. Okay, let's go ahead and shave off some of this, the back of the knife, and smooth it out so that he actually looks like he's got relatively smooth fleshy, instead of weird plasticky mold liney fleshy. Go ahead and knock that off very carefully. I need to get a new X-Acto handle, because I think I've ruined this one. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Yeah. You can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Don't slice my thumb. Yeah. I got it. Okay. And this one right here, using the very edge, we'll just gently shave it down. And there we go. And now it looks better. Okay. Go ahead and do that. Get that one down. Shave it down. And all of that's going to look fine after... Oh, there's another mold line. After it gets a thorough prime coat and base coat. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to do a base coat of a fairly dark purple, like an almost black purple or deep blue, and use that as the shadow for a lot of these guys. Okay. Man, what a great pose. Now, actually, let me check a couple things first of all. Let's go ahead and shave off that mold line there, because that's going to look really ugly on the model once paint is applied. Shave off that one too. And let's put... Oh, wait, no. Okay, so first, according to this, I need to put C31 on the pillar, so that way he has his hand perched on something. So let's take C31, which I guess is this piece? and shave it down. But yeah, I'm really excited to give Curse City a try. From what it looked like, it has a lot of that traditional Dungeons and Dragons adventuring going on. It's got that great, like, you generate the map as you go. It's got an overarching campaign. You've got a goal of defeating, like, a bunch of evil bosses before you get to the big bad evil boss. It seems to play with a very stripped down version of Games Workshop's D6 system already. So I need to give the rulebook a little bit more of a look through. But I'm excited for that one. And I'm excited to eventually play Gloomhaven, which I managed to get out of another deal because I printed out some things for another client. And he mentioned that he had Gloomhaven and was never going to play it and wanted to know if maybe that would help the school. And I told him, I don't know. I'll talk to the students, but it might be too big a game. And he told me, well, I'm never going to play it, so if you want it after all the help you've given me, it's yours. So now I have Gloomhaven. And I know the minis aren't great by, miniature painting standards, or miniature painting standards, but there's still models that I want to paint. So that's another thing that I get to paint. And I still have my Ankh-Morpork army that I need to paint for Turnip 28. I've got to repaint some Sisters of Battle. I've got to finish painting my Slaanesh, or my Emperor's Children Terminator models, just that I printed out for funsies as a test, which look fantastic. I've got quite a busy schedule ahead of me when it comes to painting, and I could not be more excited. Oh yeah, and the Death Guard Combat Patrol that I ordered came in today, or yesterday, so to replace the one I sold to a gentleman in Singapore. So I have that to paint as well. I have such a busy dossier of keeping myself busy. Oh, did I heck myself over here? Please don't tell me I heck myself over. Come on. Maybe? Let's see. Are you going to come loose? Are you going to go in? I think there's a sizing issue happening here. Because it's not upside down. It just doesn't want to fit in that top hole. There it goes. Again, just needed a little bit of a squeeze. But this vampire, taking his mighty little poop, is going to have a nice little perch to work off of. Now, that is something I'm going to have to resist the urge to do. Because of a friendship with an individual who loves poop humor, I'm always tempted to make it look like characters who are squatting, or like Death Guard characters, or anything like that. I'm always tempted to make it look like they've made a mess on themselves. So, given that he's in like prime launching position, I'm just going to have to forego making it look like he pooped himself. Okay, this one, I need to buy some more Tamiya Ultra Thin. I'm starting to run out. He can go right here. Just like, wait. Oh no! Oh no! I forgot the little nubbin on his thumbin. Go ahead and take that off. There we go. Shave that down a bit. Oh my goodness, cat. You poor little kitten. Okay. Is that gonna... That should hold. It has become a tradition, Semajolis. Like, every time I have a mini that looks like it could have pooped itself, my canon event is that it poops itself. I have an entire Blood Bowl team that has made a horrible mess of the pitch. So, I've got to keep that going. Okay. Let's see. A little bit of super glue here. Basically fuse it to the dang base. There we go. Now this thing will never leave. Unless I put it in the freezer, which I'm going to have to do with that one mini. So yeah, I guess now he's all good to go. He's going to go here. What's the last one at? 35, 34, and 37. Oh, this one is leaping off of a much smaller piece of terrain. So, let's go ahead and do that. Yep. Yeah. Oh dear. We have another long hair that I don't want to accidentally break because I did that with the wizard's beard. and I think he still turned out okay. I don't think it's super noticeable, but I suppose we'll have to see. Okay, 35 right at the wrist, underneath on the tummy, and 37, which is on his funny little leg. Let's see if I can get this without making a problem happen. Aha, I did it. Oh, and you got this tiny little face down here. Hello, buddy. Whoop, oh no, where'd his head go? Oh, there it is. Just ricocheted everywhere and ended up right in the perfect place to find it. Now, let's play dangerously, shall we? I'm going to try and shave off that little bit on his chin without slicing my hand open. Again, if you are considering using a razor knife for this stuff, guys, please, please, please make sure it's sharp. Don't follow in my mistakes, because eventually, one day, I'm going to have to delete a stream because I'm going to slice my thumb open. But you know, it is what it is. I refuse to learn the lesson until it directly affects me. There we go. Okay, let's shave that down. And as I have mentioned before, shaving it down in thinner layers definitely makes the whole thing a lot more manageable. It's a huge help with getting some of the thicker sprue bits off, is that these knives work a whole lot better when you're trying to take out smaller chunks. There we go there. Go ahead and get his little hair bit. But yeah, if you haven't seen the Mini, there is a Wizard Mini. I don't know what kind of magic he's supposed to be, because again, I don't follow Fantasy or Sigmar very closely. But some kind of battle mage, I guess. But he just looks like an incredibly old corpse with an incredibly long beard. And I dig it so much. And I'm very excited to actually figure out what these characters do and what their abilities are. I was kind of tickled to see that one of the character units, I thought he was going to be a Sigmar dwarf, like a Cities of Sigmar dwarf. But no, it turns out that he is actually a Caradron. So he's got all sorts of crazy steampunk on him. One moment, please. Man, my nose is really giving me crap tonight. I apologize. But yeah, let's shave down that little weird imperfection on his thigh, and that can just become part of the model. No one will know. Let's see, did I get most of the line off? Get that little mold line on his thigh and on his calf, because otherwise that's going to show through. And get the rest of that. And there we go. Now we got just a weird little leggy in the back of someone's torso. There we go. That should be good. One moment. I need to blow my nose again. Oh, no. I'm going to mute that because you guys don't need to hear me blowing my nose. I will be right back. I apologize. No one heard that. I apologize. Yeah, for some reason the light decided to turn itself off while I was blowing my nose, so I had to turn it back on real quick. That's what that flash of light was before the EQ figured it out. Okay, let's go ahead and get this little bit off of his sword arm without breaking the hilt, because it's apparently very flimsy, which makes sense. It's incredibly thin. I'm also going to have to find a different way to store these guys, because they're not going to fit back in the box without it being a big mess. And I kind of don't want to... I was going to put them in my battle case and find another use for my battle case, but these are so flimsy and spindly that I'm kind of scared to do that. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to carry these guys. My last thought is that maybe I should buy another craft set from Michael's and magnetize the bottom of that and carry them that way. Because I really don't want to just have them free-floating everywhere. Because, as I just stated, they are very, very thin models. So, I'm not sure yet how I'm going to deal with that situation. But if I do buy a carrying case, I also strongly want to use it to, what goes first with this guy? Oh, it all goes at the same time. To carry some of the other models, because I have a very strong interest in eventually buying Darkest Dungeon, and, getting the models for that and whatnot. And that game's another fairly large-scale game with a ton of models. So, I'm kind of in that position. Oh, no. Come on. Okay. Why? Why are you fighting me? There we go. I'm kind of in that position where I need to figure out a storage system before it becomes an issue. Because right now, there's no issue. But I'm pretty sure that very soon, there's going to be an issue. So, maybe a toolbox? Let's see, let's get more of that there. But I am going to magnetize all these guys. I have a system where I actually put like a little steel blank. Oh, this is a lady. Where I put the steel blank on the bottom of the Mini's base, and then I attach a magnet to it, just by magnetism, and then I put a steel plate down on the carrying case I'm going to use, and then it just kind of sandwiches the magnet between the steel plate and the carrying case, and that ends up being a fairly strong bond. But I kind of started moving away from magnetic carrying cases because I was having another problem. Oh my goodness, why is your face so small? Get a bigger face. There we go. Okay. So now she's pretty good to go. Yep, gonna glue this down. Just like that. Yeah, see, like, I don't trust this Mini to not shatter and tear into a million pieces, should I put it in, like, a foam carrying case. Especially alongside, like, the 40 other Minion Minis that they've got in this dang box. These are great poses. I can't wait to start painting these. These are just so freaking cool. Let's go ahead and get rid of that mold line on her hair before that's just a hideous part of the paint job. Speaking of paint jobs, thanks for the notification, Semajolies, about the Red Gobbo competition that's happening at Blade. But, like, I don't have any money to buy him. So while I'd love to take part of the competition, to possibly get a gift card or something, I don't have the money to purchase that model, to make that worth my while. Okay, oh, cool. Next is going to be the skateboarding zombie. So let's go ahead and put this guy together. C1 and C2 are the first things he's going to get. Oh my goodness, he has so many contact points. Let's see. Now with this, I'm kind of doing it the wrong way. I should really have the blades facing the other way and leave as much sprue on there as possible. But it's all working out fine. C2 is going to be... That is a really cool shovel. I guess the question is, do I make it look really, really new and shiny, or do I go ahead and make it look really gross and all worn out and rusted over? I think the answer is going to have to be rusted over. But we shall see once I eventually get to that paint job. Okay. Go ahead and shave that down so that way you can't really see the mold lines. There we go. Ouch. Go ahead and get that thing done. Yeah, this is a good shovel. I like this shovel. Okay, let's see. Anything else there? A little bit. It's all good. Okay, that's going to go like that. This one is going to have to get shaved down, as always. Oh, goodness gracious. I wonder what's next for Games Workshop, because their models are getting increasingly complex, increasingly detailed, and something that impresses me is as kind of busy as they've gotten, they're still for the most part very readable from a silhouette perspective, and they're very paintable. Something that I've seen become a heavier point of criticism with independent creators is that they'll make models that look fantastic in the render, but then when you print them or acquire them, they're just an absolute bear to try and get through. And I don't really want to call anyone out, because people work really hard on their models and they look great, but it's just like trying to paint them up is an absolute disaster, because there's just way too much stuff on there to really make it easy to, or to make it very readable, you know what I mean? I feel like I got really lucky, because I printed a dreadnought, a custom dreadnought for Semijoli's, and there's a lot of like Celtic knotwork, well, knotwork on it and whatnot, to go along with the aesthetic of the rest of the bespoke army it came from. And it's just like, that one is just at that level of readability, and a lot of them are not. So the fact that Games Workshop manages to produce minis that have a lot of detail to play with, have a lot of depth, have a lot of fun stuff to look at to create layers of color, and they still manage to make them very readable, just impresses the hell out of me. Now let's see. Where are you supposed to go? Are you actually supposed to... Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, so you're held upright, which means I don't know what it means. Oh. It goes in like that. That's weird. Uh-oh. Okay, no. It's not stuck. But it's in a great position for me to just dollop a whole bunch of painting cement and just kind of let it do its job. Let it run its course. Let's go over to find C3. Where is this? There's C3. I wonder if fighting these guys has all sorts of really cool secondary actions that makes them more dangerous, because he's definitely, like I said, he's writing on a casket lid, and he's got all sorts of skulls and stuff. He's very clearly a grave digger of some kind. In fact, that's his name, Gorslav the Gravekeeper. So I'd be very interested to see how he plays when we finally get into the game, and this just fuels my interest. And then, of course, I read a couple of reviews about how the game plays, and it seems to have met fairly positive ones. So someone who's not really into board games like me, I hope that I'm able to have a lot of fun. I hope my friends are able to have a lot of fun. I hope that that wasn't a piece of my thumb that just went flying off. Okay, that's good. I think that one's pretty decent. Let's get this one over here, which I think is part of his back. Do that. Okay, so I'm having a mild conundrum, mild dilemma right now, because the sounds of the cat playing with the the starburst have died down tremendously. And I don't know if they got bored with it. I don't know if they ate it, which I hope is not the case. I don't know if they... Oops. Well then. That's a problem. Thankfully, that's an easily fixable problem. But I don't know if they got bored with it, if they ate it, if they pushed it under a chair. And given how much sugar is in that thing and how small my cat is, I kind of don't want it to die of, like, insulin shock. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto his back. And then I'm going to try and glue that piece together that just snapped off. And then I'm going to go upstairs and make sure my cat's not dead. Based on the sounds I'm hearing, I think he's okay. Because there's very clearly still wandering around happening up there. But normally, I'm used to hearing the cat running around and frolicking and just kind of making a nuisance of himself. And that sound has been conspicuously absent for about the last 15 minutes. Okay. Oh, that's a much cleaner snap than I anticipated. that's going to be fine. It's going to be a weak spot, but hopefully it'll fuse together and it'll be fine. Let's see. And see, if this was... I don't think this could have been attempted had this been some kind of resin. That would have been just way too fine a piece. And snapping it would have been a whole lot easier. Because that took a decent amount of force for it to finally break under my grip. Okay, we're going to go ahead and wet all this down. And then get this on here. Come on, you can do it. Oh, no music is playing. I wonder what caused that to happen. Epidemic. Oh, those are suggested tracks. My bad. I was wondering why the music just kind of died off. There we go. Music's back on. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this back together. Get that thing going. Get all this going. Yeah, I was like, it's conspicuously quiet. I feel like I gotta talk more to make up for the fact that there's no sound. Well, it's because I forgot to turn the music on. Okay. Oh, C5 needs to go on. Let's go ahead and get C5 on this thing, which looks to be a zombie starting to poke its head out and just... Again, great looking models, great looking stuff. And I get to kind of embrace my Death Guard heritage a little bit here, because that was another army that I started with the painting. So I'm going to have a lot of fun making this look decrepit and disgusting. Where do you go up front? How are you? I guess? Like so? Yes, like so. Okay, so he's literally unearthing one of these guys. That's super neat and super gross. So let's see what we got here. I'm gonna slide that in place. Perfect, like a glove. Look at that. Fits just like Mama said it would. Let's get a little bit of this very, at this point, disgusting liquids or super glue that I have on here. This is definitely a well-loved tube. And we're gonna put this like so, and pray that, given how fragile this is, no more of it manages to break off. Get on there. Get on there. There we go. Managed to pop it right in. Okay. That being said, I will be right back. I'm going to go ahead and check on my cat, make sure my cat's not dead. Hopefully he just knocked the starburst under a couch or something. So just give me a moment. I will be right back. Be right back. I'm back. No clue. It must have been a false alarm or something because I can't find anything. And he's fine. He's just chilling on a couch. Next thing. What a cool freaking model. I can't wait to... Oh, where's his face? I have lost the dude's face. I have not bothered to put it on yet, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Where's your face supposed to go? C4. There it is. I got you. Okay, let's go ahead and take C4. That is a literal crown of bones. That is very cool. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but like, check this out. Look at this guy. He is just a screaming crown of bones. There's something very Dark Souls-y about this, or Elden Ring, or whatever other From Software game you could think of. But, it's definitely got that kind of really dark vibe, and I really dig it. So, I'm quite excited to read up more on the lore of these individual characters, because Games Workshop really knocked it out of the park with their look and with their the general aesthetic. And I think they made enough different... You're gonna make me go pick up this box over Black Friday? I feel it coming. Well, hopefully it'll be cheaper that way. But it's so cool. I'm really impressed. Like, I didn't give Age of Sigmar much thought until I started seeing people do sculpts and like take the minis and paint them, and I was just like, wow, these are fantastic. I've really been sleeping on Age of Sigmar. And one of the coolest things about it to me was just because I'm a big old nerd, was being able to print out the box organizer for the tokens, so that I'm able to kind of just store everything very safely and securely and conveniently. Okay. Let's push that face down now that I found a safe position to do so. And hopefully this will make it so that it doesn't push itself back off. I probably should have clipped off a little bit of the nubbin so that it can properly like settle in here instead of having some air pressure. Okay. Yeah, like, look at this guy. What a cool model. And I remember on I'm on like r/Minipainting and whatnot on Reddit a lot, just seeing a whole bunch of people posting these models and the amazing paint jobs they did. And I just remember thinking, where are they getting these from? What models are they from? And then I realized they all came from Curse City, and I was like, oh, I guess I better get me a copy sometime. Okay, that's a fine-looking lad. The next one, unfortunately, is Vargskier, which I cannot put on a base because I was a doofus, and I put this guy on the base. Which really sucks, because when you look at him, first of all, he's a really cool-looking bruiser. But secondly, he looks like he fits perfectly on there, right? His foot radius is good. The little skull motif is in the right place. But no, he apparently goes on one of these bases. And it's like, this just doesn't look big enough. So, what I think I'm going to do is, since he's a fairly big model, I'll go ahead and put Vargskier together, and that way I'm done with the sprue. And then after that, what I might do is I might go back to painting. I kind of don't want to get the minions all out until I've got some of this stuff painted. 38, 39, and 40. Okay, so that's 41. That's 38. And I think something else that's kind of feeding my desire to play this is I'm reading through Terry Pratchett's Discworld right now, and I'm very specifically focusing on the City Watch. And I'm reading The Fifth Elephant, which, if you haven't read The Fifth Elephant, is about Captain Vimes going off to Uberwald as part of a diplomatic mission. And Uberwald is basically Terry Pratchett's version of like gothic horror, with vampires and werewolves and deep forests and isolated villages. And so he's got to deal with like a vampire's noble family and a werewolf's noble family. And so I'm really getting this gothic vibe from all comers, or all sides right now. You know what I mean? Again, pardon the post-nasal drip. But it's really got me in that mood. And on top of that, you know, Halloween just happened, and it's fall, and it's kind of dreary. And my wife is actually DMing 2 different sessions of Curse of Strahd. So we have a lot of that kind of energy flowing around the house right now. So, yeah, I think that's just got to be it. We've got so much of the Gothisms all over the place. Okay, I gotta say something really cool about this. Let me gush about this mini for a second. Look at just, like, the distended rib cage that's happening here. Oh, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it. Definitely didn't need to do that, but thank you. I haven't made any money off of these streams yet, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But if I do, it's all going right back into buying new cool shit to paint and to show off on stream. And hopefully at some point actually starting to show off techniques, because I think I'm an okay painter. But there's a lot of things that I haven't been able to do. Oh, Isidore, thank you. Thank you for the subscription. This excites me. I don't have subscribers. I have people who follow, and they just enjoy seeing the stream happen. Now, I will warn you guys, and so I will never feel offended if you cancel, but I have had very inconsistent streaming recently due to a myriad of health issues. I'm feeling a whole lot better right now, and I'm hoping that means I can stream more regularly. Good lord. Oh, thank you for the gifted sub. Much appreciated. At some point, I will actually, you know, have things that make the subscription worth it. Like, I'm probably gonna pester my wonderful artist wife to help me do some emotes based around my little frog boy. But beyond that, I don't really have much to offer other than a continued presence. I have no idea how this is supposed to go. What is this picture? What is that picture? I think is it this way? I think it's that way. That looks about right. What's up, Magic Donut? How's it going, first of all? Hope that you're enjoying the stream. I'm just trying to figure out how to put together these Cursed City models and doing my best. But hopefully I can answer any questions that you might have. There we go. I'm here for the vibe. Good energy and hobbying is life. That is true. Having a good positive space to just enjoy the hobby and enjoy doing the hobby stuff. Oh no, I can't. There's secrets happening now. Okay, I think this is correct. This feels wrong, but it fits there. Just texturally, it's off. I guess I'll find out why soon enough. Okay, and this bit goes into his groin. Oh, that's wrong. It goes this way. This way? It goes that way. Okay, I'm figuring this out. I'm learning things. Given the size of the hero models, this is not going to be a fun thing to have to fight. Okay. But yeah, what question did you have? Did I miss it? Things started moving. Nope, you had a question, and then that was it. So, fire away whenever you're ready. I think... Oh dear. Oh dear. I think there was an order of operations and I somehow messed it up. Get in there, homie. You too. Get in there. Get in there. Get in there. Because I can... Is this wrong? No, that is correct. It's just at an angle. There we go. Why do Ultramarines get quick connect pieces, but the Superior's Chaos Marines don't? Because they know that Chaos Marines fans are worth it. They know that they're worth it and they're up to the challenge, whereas Ultramarines fans are just starting out in the hobby and they're little babbies, and so they need all of the help they can get. That is my argument. Because everyone knows Chaos Marines. Like, you don't play Chaos until you know what you're doing. Hey, Mr. Motorhead, good to see you. Thanks for the kind words. It feels good to be back. I've been dealing with, like, all sorts of issues that have just not left me with the energy to stream, and I finally have it, and so I'm really glad to be able to be back and stream and hang out with you guys. Okay. I already love this model. He keeps saying that, but these are such cool freaking models. Okay, let's see if I can get rid of that seam a little better with a little bit more plastic cement in the seam, right? I don't have faith in myself yet to use. Your first and only army is chaos. So what you did was you chose violence and then embraced it. That's my best guess. Oh, speaking of, I know that they're not going to be like part of the Chaos line proper for much longer, but I decided to go Emperor's Children because reading about Fulgrim in the Horus Heresy, at first I was like, this guy is an arrogant asshole and I hate him, and then I was like, this guy is an arrogant asshole and I love him. So I decided to go Emperor's Children with my Chaos army, and I'm anxiously awaiting their release, which is potentially going to be next summer, and that excites me. But in the meantime, your army is painted as Emperor's Children. Ho 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 ho! Yes, you have good choices. I found these Chaos Terminators and STL files, and I upscaled them so that they were the size of the new Leviathan Terminators. And instead of just making them taller, I made them bigger in every way, and now they're like absolutely massive. And I love them to death. I think they're so cool. I can't wait to eventually use them in a game. But yeah, like, you know, they weren't done to true scale, and now they are. So like, he is as tall as this guy, but just look at how much thicker all of his body proportions are, right? And so I'm really excited that it all turned out correctly. I'm pretty jazzed about this whole thing. And meanwhile, I painted these other Imperial Fist Terminators, and I tried to bring them down to the proper scale before the Leviathan box came out, and I was way off, and so he is so tiny, and this Chaos Lord is going to absolutely murder him. You use color shift paints? That's a really cool idea, and I kind of wish I had done that. He was here earlier, I don't know if he still is, but Semajoli's has Alpha Legion, and he went color shift with his, and they look so freaking good. But there's a user that is on a lot of the social media sites named Cerberus XT, and they had this really, really vibrant pink, and so I asked them for their color recipe, and they gave it to me. And I was not a skilled enough painter to replicate it, so I was like, okay, I'm going to use these colors, but I'm going to do it in the way that I paint. And I've been leaning really heavy into non-metallic metals, so I kind of went way too hard on the volumetric lighting, and all it really did was make it look tacky as hell. And I think that fits the Emperor's Children. So I was pretty jazzed about that. I keep seeing armies and wanting armies. I'll be right back. I need to blow my nose again. I apologize. The season changing has really messed up my sinuses. Okay, but no, the thing I'm actually most proud of recently, while I'm trying to figure out what piece I need to put on next, is I recently got a Belisarius Call as part of a trade for doing a commission. And one of my best friends did a Belisarius Call. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the Belisarius Call. He did an absolutely perfect job of it. Leagues of Votann would be cool if they had more variety. You just need to paint them like Among Us crewmates. That's all you need to do. Because that really makes them sing. And I know that because I painted my Votann as Among Us crewmates, and then I sold them. Because I realized very quickly when I started assembling them, that if you don't put the arms on them, they look like Super HD Among Us crewmates. The nice thing about Chaos Marine sprues is they work as spiky bits for conversions. They really do. I can't wait to get myself some Chaos Marines. I'm considering getting the Combat Patrol to have as just kind of a base for the Emperor's Children army when I eventually get it. And I'll just 3D print the Noise Marines and anything else I might need. But I really enjoy painting Chaos. They're such a fun set to paint. Oh, the Night Lord's Kill Team. That came out of nowhere. Don't get the Combat Patrol? Not worth it. Well, it's got the Hellbrute in it, which I think is pretty cool. It's got the Havocs, which I do want a heavy weapon team, and it's got the Legionnaire. And I'll be completely honest, the Dark Apostle, I just want him because he's got that stupid speaker face follower. So, like, even though it may not be great, I want it because the models that are in it are kind of neat. My 30k Iron Warriors aren't very chaosy, but I do love Chaos Space Marines. Well, yeah, just because your stuff doesn't match the aesthetic doesn't mean you can't like the aesthetic, right? But yeah, if you give me a second. Actually, Dark Apostle's okay, I bought it, but meh. If I remember right, doesn't he help with melee? And if that's the case, then he's perfect for Emperor's Children. Give me a second, guys, because I've mentioned it, and now I gotta show it off. You guys need to see the Among Us, because they're just straight Among Us. I think he has another Starburst. Let me find the Among Us. I know I took good pictures of them somewhere. There they are. Okay, so we'll take that. We'll do a window. Among Us. Among Us. Among Us. Tell me that ain't perfect. Tell me that is not perfect. Tell me that is not like the most perfect, you know, one-to-one conversion you have ever seen. I love the fact that if you just chop off the arms at the wrist, he has 2 get out of jail free cards with his followers taking hits for him. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's also what makes it cool. Is I love that stupid speaker-faced one. I love the theme of it. It's just a great looking. Okay, no, I'm mad I didn't do it. I know, but it's so perfect. I love it so much. For every model that I could that was an Among Us crewmate, I was just super excited and I cut it off at the wrists. I did the same thing with the bikers. I don't know how many of these will show. There's some more. There's some more. Those guys I painted normally. Yeah, no, I don't know where I have pictures for the bikes. But, oh, the window capture died. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that, but I realized I didn't really want to play them, so I just kind of sold them, and gosh, I don't even remember what I got for them, but it was worth it. Either way, it was worth it. I had a lot of fun doing it, and the person who bought them was very excited with how they turned out. Okay, I don't like the Vargskir's sideway penis. I don't like it. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a little bit of a short. Oh, there it went. That can go away. We don't need to see that. Yeah, it feels like it's been a while since I painted those, because it has been a while. It's been so long that I sold them. Okay, get in there, buddy. Ugh. Okay, there we go. Now the Vargskir has most of his torso lined up, and I can go ahead and soak the crap out of this. And then, hopefully that will impregnate the crevice enough. It'll saturate the crevice enough, and then I can really push, and that will get it all to fuse together and get rid of most of the ugly seam. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, the cat is definitely playing with something he shouldn't be playing with up there. But yeah, I'm just going to hold this together for a second. Do I use plastic glue or plastic cement? I use Tamiya extra thin cement, because it was recommended to me a while ago. And what I typically do with seams, like, you can kind of see it here, how when I pinch, there's a little bit of a ripple that forms. I'll just kind of massage that thing and scrape it off with the back of my knife, which obviously leads kind of an ugly little depression in there. And so what I'll typically do is I'll go back over it with the plastic cement to let it melt back down. And that tends to clean up the seam nicely enough. But it really depends on how lucky you can get. His butt is so flat. Mr. Vargskir with the flat butt. Okay, but no, that's gonna look good. That's a fantastic looking model. Where's the rest of you? C43 and C42 are going to be his 2 giant arms. How long does that take to dry? Overall, I don't know, but to be kind of like secure, about 10-15 seconds. Especially if you pressure fit it like that, it'll kind of do what it needs to do in about 10-15 seconds. Show him the sprue goo. I actually don't have any sprue goo, but what you typically do is, once you see how low this thing is now, what you typically do is take like a bit of sprue and you just chop off bits and you throw them in here and you mix it together and it just makes this horrifying goop, and you can use it to fill in the gaps and the seams in your mini and make it look like one continuous piece. I use Mr. Cement's plastic cement because it's available for like $2, but it takes forever to dry. Yeah, that is kind of the problem. I've never used that before, but this does not take that long to dry. Like, see, I went ahead and went back over this, and you see how it kind of reduced down that mess I had made? And eventually, it'll dry out, and everything will look hunky-dory. Okay, what was I doing? Arms. Working on arms. So we're going to shave off as much of the mold lines as possible without going too hardcore into it. There we go. Get rid of that little bit of a nubbin. Yeah, the thing I had for sprue goo, I actually ran out of. But it is definitely something you can use. And my understanding is it's a very effective seam filler, so I can only strongly recommend it even if I'm not doing it. There's a lot of little hobby tricks that I'm not doing for fear of mucking it up, that I really just need to go ahead and take the plunge for. Like, even though I have the materials, I still haven't done an oil wash, even though oil washes are incredibly good. They make your models look really weathered and really great, or they're great for dark lining and panel lining, but I'm baby. And I had a really bad experience with a dip wash from Army Painter because I didn't realize it was oil-based. And so I spent like an hour trying to clean it up using spirits, mineral spirits. And they still ended up being sticky as sin, and they looked terrible. So I got to do the privilege thing that 3D printers do, and I got to... Using an oil wash right now, I feel like it's even easier to use than acrylics. It really is, and that's the thing. It's not super difficult. I'm just a pansy about it. I'm just kind of a coward. So eventually I'll get over myself, and I'll figure out an excuse to use it, and then I will, and then I'll bemoan the fact that I hadn't, and all will be good in at the desk of Ben Repaints. Oh man. Let's say that was almost a seamless fit. Okay, there we go. There we go. Get some of that, press that in, and you can see right there, that little webbing seam, it's almost completely gone now. So if I hold that for about 15-20 seconds, it'll cure enough, it'll melt and dry enough that I can just go ahead and release it, and there you go. Now, the unfortunate part is that, you know, gravity and pressure will cause it to separate a little, so you might want to hold on to it a bit longer, but for the purpose, it's fine. This is literally a board game piece that I'm just spending a lot of time on to make it look good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, if I was doing this for display, that's a different story. When I worked on the Belisarius Call, I never finished that story. When I worked on the Belisarius Call that I had gotten, or that I was given, I definitely tried to make sure that that model was as beautiful as possible. And I ended up using a lot of inspiration from Don Serratos on social media and YouTube. And I think some of the techniques he used to really make the robe and the metal sing in that model really helped elevate my own rendition of it, because it's a really easy model to make look good, but there's a lot of little things you can do to make it look great. Okay, what is he missing? He's missing a head. Oh, there's his head right there. We're gonna go ahead and take the head. Okay, guys, time to give the Vargskier head. Let's go. And he's missing a toe? Did they really not give him a toe? Okay, what else? Oh, there's his other toe, apparently. Honestly, I'm feeling spicy enough. What I might actually do is I might just go ahead and print another 50mm base, cut off the little nubbin that's supposed to attach it to the base, attach the model to the base, and just put him there. Let's see. Let's cut this off. Hopefully that's the right nub. It is the right nub. I'm at the very bottom of your guys' screen. I apologize. I've actually never done a put stuff together stream. So, I have my camera way zoomed out in hopes that it doesn't try and focus on too many things. And, I don't really know where to hold my hands right now. Warp talons don't get their toes. Gotta glue on a piece that is smaller than a rat's hair to the Mini, and I hated it. I forget which models those are. And I'm sorry, because that sounds absolutely miserable. That's actually a trend that I'm not overly fond of that they've gone towards with even the Space Marines to a lesser extent, where their bolter hands are attached to the bolter. And so while it does give them a lot more variety in terms of the posing of the hands, they're friggin' line troops. They don't need to have a whole lot of personality. I really just kind of wish that they had a little bit more customizability there. In terms of what kind of weapon you put there. Okay. Aw, he's actually really adorable. I like this guy. Raptors, but with claws. Okay, fair enough. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so this one needs to be shaved. Yeah, I get it because they want the poses to be more dynamic, but it really is just like, why would you make this the contact point? It's kind of like with the new Celestine model, well, the 7th edition Celestine model. My wife tried to put that together, and she was so angry because everything was these minuscule contact points, and when she finally tried to attach it to the base, it just had these little wibbly pieces of parchment, which don't hold. Jetbot Chaos Marines with claws that are basically burn braid. Yeah. The raptor in this case is talking about the bird, not necessarily the dino. I got what you're talking about now. It took me a minute. Speaking of, that was a confusing part in Deliverance Lost until I was able to eventually put 2 and 2 together. That, okay, no, this is not working. That, when Corvus Corax made the new raptor unit, I thought that was referencing, I thought that was a chaos thing, so I was like, wait a minute, why is a loyalist naming their group after that? And then I found out, A, it's a bird, not a dinosaur, and B, they were an ill-fated group that eventually, you know, had to be put down, but that's a whole nother story. I hate that the legs on the warp talons came with rubble because I had to cut it off and cover it up. I'm like, yeah. It really sucks when they kind of pigeonhole you into a specific base aesthetic that doesn't match what you're doing. And then they make it worse by attaching a limb to that specific terrain. That's not all of what Games Workshop does is especially astute. Like, they're trying, so I can't fault them too badly, but every now and then they've got a little bit of a shame on you. Okay, let's see if I can do this without losing my finger. Come on, buddy. Come on, but yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Thankfully, I'm kind of very boring, so I typically do just kind of ruin terrain and dirt, and so when they have to be based around the rubble, I just make it look like it's rubble in a pile of dirt. Eventually, though, when I start having to do more... This doesn't fit right. I don't know if it's air pressure or vacuum, but I can't get that back part quite in. The next army will be Hawaiian Necrons, Hawaiian shirts on them and bases full of palm trees and sand. That's brilliant. I don't know if you've seen it, but Midwinter Minis had a video where he faced off against a friend's orcs, and that's kind of what he did. He made them very Jimmy Buffett style. Okay, look at this lad. Look at this lad. What a good lad. He's so perfect. Okay, speaking of, give me a second, because I've only done one. I did the Among Us theme Votan, which was great and all. The only other themed thing I've done was I did a Deathkilla War Trike in the style of Kaneda's bike from Akira. So I'm gonna pull that out and show it off for a second because it's really cool. Did he use Necrons, or the orcs were like that? He used orcs. He gave the orcs like a real beach bum vibe with Hawaiian shirts and whatnot. So doing the Necrons in it is also going to look really good. One moment. Okay, so first of all, here's my Orkira. This was the bike I did to look like it's doing the Akira slide. I'm really darn happy with how this thing turned out. I even put like little decals on it that instead of saying the brand names and stuff from Akira, they just have orcified versions. So instead of Canon, he's got one that says Gun, which I thought fit. All sorts of fun stuff all over the place on this thing. I've even lifted it a little. It's hard to see because it wasn't a huge lift, but the back end is clearly up in the air as he's going through the bike slide. I tried to get the back so it was the same color as the pill insignia on the back of his vest. Yeah, I had a lot of fun painting this, and my original plan was to go through and do a movie-themed orc army called the Fanboys, but that kind of ran out of steam as I kind of dwindled with my commissions, so that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. The other one, and this is one I'm really proud of, I just finished it recently, is I did a Belisarius Call on a display base, and I think he turned out really, really good. So this is my Belisarius Call, and he's got a lot going on. Even though it's definitely being amplified by the light, I think the highlights on like his robe turned out really good. They're kind of nice and subtle without being too subtle. The orange energy, I think, popped really well against the red on him. I've got this adorable little servitor who's trying to mop up the encroaching Martian soil and dust. I've got another tech priest behind him yelling at him. Something one of my friends suggested is in the back computer. I should have them playing like Space Invaders or something. So that's probably something I'll add on there eventually. But, is why I will never paint Admech. See, that's the thing. Putting him together was actually more frustrating than painting him. Painting him was really easy, because he's just such a great model. You really like the metallics on Call? Thank you. A lot of it was the initial metallic and then hitting it with wash after wash after wash, and that really helped it really pop, you know what I mean? Made everything look nice and beat down. So I used like a gold or a bronze, and then I kept hitting it with a red wash, and that helped turn it into this really good, deep, orangey bronze. So yeah, I was pretty happy with how these turned out. Very neat stuff. Made me happy. I'll be right back. I also did a thing with an orc kill team. The contrast between the steel is very nice. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it created a really great pop between them. Okay, the rest of these that I need to put together are Zombos and Skelemen, so I think I'm going to do that later. What's going to happen now is I'm going to put all of this stuff over here. I'm going to go ahead and take these guys and... Actually, no. I'm going to put the magnets on them because they're worth it. So, something I do, I mentioned it before, but I don't actually magnetize my minis anymore. I do put a magnet on them, but I do it in a slightly unorthodox way that I found by watching Goobertown Hobbies. If you've never watched his stuff, he does some really great videos on just like little mini painting things you can do. And one of them was magnetizing bases. And there is the basic way of just sticking a magnet on the bottom of the base. And it definitely works, and it's fine. But one of the biggest problems I have with that is that now you've got a permanent magnet stuck on the bottom of the base. And you don't always want a magnet stuck on the bottom of your base. So something he suggested that I started doing is taking like a steel blank, like a disc. Okay, come on, get up. I need that off. And gluing that to the base, and then attaching a magnet to the blank. And that way it's kind of sandwiched between the steel plate that you're going to be resting your minis on and the steel blank. And that's going to provide a much more solid magnetic connection without making it permanent. So I've got these things right here, and I can just glue them on to the bottom of the base, and then attach magnets as necessary. So that's kind of what I've started doing. And so far, it's been a pretty good success. I haven't had any problems with it. I will say that these smaller bases, they aren't the most powerful ones in the world, and there's not a lot of metal there to support it. So I'm probably not going to buy the small metal blanks again. If I do this again, I'm going to go back to the slightly larger ones, which I think are a 1/2 inch instead of a 1/4 inch, because it just holds up a whole lot better, and it creates a whole lot more strength. Yeah, like this size, for the magnet to actually attach to. But for now, this is all going to be fine. Okay. Let's take this, put this on here, and we'll just let those settle and cure. And eventually, when I get a metal tray, I can just kind of slide them all on the metal tray, and unless I, you know, throw the metal tray... Oh wow, that one stuck prematurely, that's fine. Then they're going to be fine. An example of that, actually... Like, I made this thing for a toolbox a decent time ago when I was using more of a toolbox setup, and this is just a you know, I think it's an 18 gauge sheet of sheet metal, and I cut it to size. Unfortunately, okay, wait, hear me out. What you got for me? What you got? I can't. Do I have another mini that I've done that to? Oh yeah, I did it to these guys. Bowling League themed Astra Militarum. So they've all got like their bowling league, their rec league bowling shirts. That would be awesome. You could have squads with just terrible names like Squad Pin Pal and Squad Holy Roller and Squad Gutter Ball. That's absolutely amazing. But yeah, so I got this little thing right here, got a magnet. I can attach the magnet right there. I can attach it right there. And in general, it's good enough. Unfortunately, I think, like, these might be too small. Let's see, let me find another example. Yeah, same thing. Got one of these magnets. Put it right there, goes on right there. Much more solid, because plastic, not resin. But, that way I don't have a constant magnet stuck to the bottom of it, and that won't be a problem when I'm trying to transport them. Do I have an example of a bigger one? Nah, I probably don't. The tanks would shoot bowling balls. And you could have it so the sponsons have, like, rows of chicken fingers and fries or something. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen Celestine before, but Celestine is absolutely miserable with all of this. That's actually pretty funny. Incoherent rage. But what someone suggested was, instead of having Celestine be attached by this absolutely miserable skinny base, is to go ahead and just chop off the prayer fabric right here and have her launching off of like a building or something, or some rubble, and make that part of the base, so that way you have a much more solid foundation of her foot versus whatever the heck this is. Though I will be honest, I'm kind of having a lot of fun making Celestine lose her shit live on television. But yeah, that's a problem for another day. What am I doing? I'm already losing my mind. What other things can I work on while I'm here? Actually, I probably ought to just clean up. Gonna put the glue away. I want to work on more of these, but at the same time, I don't want to work on more of these. And actually, why do I have an extra 40mm base? What is this supposed to go to? I got the heroes. I got those guys. That's a 50mm. Oh, that's what the extra 40mm is for. It's for the barbarian. Hey, Atsu, how's it going? I just finished putting together most of the bosses for Warhammer Curse City. How about Roller Derby Adeptus Sororitas? That's also perfect. So I've got these really cool vampire guys and these really cool undead soldiers. I'm eventually going to start painting them, but today is not that day because that would require me cracking open the airbrush, and it's a little late for that for me. But I'm absolutely in love with these models. I think they're fantastic, and I can't wait to take a crack at them and get some really smexy paint jobs on them. Actually, you know what? Give me a second, because I think I'm in a position where at least priming them wouldn't be that big a deal. Well, he won't fit on here, really. No, he's got way too big a leg span for that. That's okay. Yeah, I love the idea of having ridiculous themed 40K stuff that is just for kicks and giggles and not at all for the serious. That's a lot of fun. Why? Wait, no, I do have an extra 40mm base. I'm so very confused. What other thing in the manual is 40mm that I mistook? Okay, that's 50. He was 40, which I have correctly on there. 32, 25s, 25s also. Yeah, everything is 25 or 32. I've got 2 extra 40mm bases, and I don't know why. Did I put another dude on the wrong thing? No, he's on the right thing. I don't know. I give up. That's okay. These things can all go in the base bag, and I'll figure it out later. In the meantime, actually, that's something else I need to find. I seem to have lost the cover for my knife, and that worries me greatly because I don't want to accidentally shank myself. Let's see. Nope, not down there. Knife cover. Knife cover. Where'd you go? Was it potentially something I knocked over a few days ago? All I know is it means I really can't carry this around with me anymore. So what's going to happen now, double base when you need to add a base to your base because your base isn't basey enough. That's a really based opinion to have, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. Okay, let's see. There we go. Let's get rid of all that mess. Goodbye, guys. You can go on the floor, and I'll vacuum you up later. Goodbye. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go. Get out of here. Get out of here. Quick cleaning of your area. When you're in the basement, it doesn't matter if it gets on the floor. Okay, let's go ahead and get on our glove. Please, bro, stop punching me. I'm wearing headphones. I'm really sorry. Is it really that loud coming through the headphones? I really don't mean it to be. Because normally, the microphone does a pretty good job. No, it's not bad. Okay. The bass gets you, oh. The bass gets you by surprise. It's really punchy. Oof. I'm not sure what's causing that. Normally, the whatchamacallit, the airbrush doesn't actually hit that hard. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the mic a little forward because I do have a sound barrier on the oh, it wasn't the airbrush? Okay, well that's good. I punched the microphone. I don't think I did. If I did, I apologize, but let's not do that again. Let's not punch the microphone again. Okay, let's take these lovely lads. Okay, what most likely happened was I think I hit the sound booth on it, the portable sound booth, and that pong echoed back into the mic. So I apologize for that. I'm not calling you a liar. You're the one that's in pain right now. I can't try and say that didn't happen. Okay, there we go. I did it again. I apologize. I need a shock absorber for my mic mount. Yeah, I probably do. It's on an arm, like it's on an articulated arm right now. Sorry about that, Prime Dragoon. I definitely hit it with my arm just now. Deepest apologies. I'm really not trying to hit it. Okay. Vallejo. I mean, I'll be completely honest, I'm usually not moving around this much. He's dangerous, he's angry! It's all that boxing. No, let's not do it again, please. I don't want to cause him any more ear trauma. So, you guys can go over here, because I don't think... What a cool character. Look at all this crap he has on him. He's got like a bat hanging off him, he's got a little rat dog. He's got a bird. He's got a rat on his back. Why can't we play as this guy? Right? What a neat-looking character. I think I'm going to reserve priming him. The Noise Marines would be disappointed in me. This silence displeases Slanesh. Hentai music. I did it again. There you go. I did it again, guys. I apologize for hitting it one more time. Again, I'm not used to moving around this much. Usually I'm just over in my little quarter. Painting minis. When is the Noise Marine update? My understanding is that they're going to do an unknown codex in spring of 2024. And for the background for that picture, they had an Imperial Aquila. And so Volrak, who, even though he does a lot of weird theory crafting, and a lot of weird, like, tinfoil hat theories, he does a really good job at predicting. And he thinks that, you know, the Emperor's children were the only legion that had the privilege of wearing the Imperial Aquila. So, that's most likely some kind of hint that the faction that's going to be released that season is going to be the Emperor's children. And it makes even more sense because the faction that's coming out before that is the Chaos Marines Codex. So it makes a whole lot of sense for them to release the Chaos Marines Codex, the Emperor's Children to be, you know, omitted from it, and then suddenly we have an Emperor's Children release. If he's really good, I'm not sure it's fair to call the theories weird. If he lands closest to truth, then he's closest to properly. Such men should be feared and respected. That is a valid point. There are some people on the forum that I go to that seem to think that he is actually like a GW shill and that he's paid by them. But from what I understand, he actually is like shadow banned from forums with Games Workshop employees in it, or they're told to leave. The Emperor's Children will get dogged all the time. Only 3 out of the 4 gods get love. Well, I mean, they've been doing a pretty steady release of Chaos God-themed armies, right? Because they had the Emperor's Children, or not the Emperor's Children, they had the Thousand Sons with Magnus come out, and then they had the Death Guard with Mortarion, and then they had the World Eaters with Angron, so by all logic, that leaves Fulgrim and Slanesh and the Emperor's Children. So it makes sense that they would be the next ones to come out. Going by their release logic. So everyone and their mother seems to believe that the Emperor's Children are going to be the next Chaos-themed faction to come around. And if that's the case, I'm kind of excited by that. Well, I'm very excited by that. It's a major reason why I've refrained from buying a lot of Chaos Marine stuff, is because if they're going to do a whole new run of Emperor's Children themed army, then I'm going to buy that instead. Okay. Now, I wasn't originally going to do it, but I think these guys are going to go ahead and get a Zenithal Prime. So once I finish hitting them with the regular prime, or with the priming primer, then I'm going to go ahead and... Oh my goodness, why did they put this here? I can't get her butt at all. Then I'm going to hit this with a Pale Sand Overspray, which should do a pretty decent job of giving us a nice highlight and making them look almost statuesque. Or evocative of a statue. So, very excited about that. Yeah, once again, apologize. I still feel bad about hitting the mic, so I apologize for doing that. Hopefully, the sound quality is still okay, even though I've got this thing hissing and whining its way through a bunch of this. Mistakes have been made. Oh dear. What else have I done wrong now? Come on. There we go. That should be good. Hopefully. Yeah, that looks good. I love these hero units. They're so evocative of what they're supposed to be. They're very neat. I'm in love with this guy. He's such a cool mini. Unfortunately, he's a bit washed out, so we're gonna have to fix that. Let's go ahead and hit him with that old Razzle Dazzle. There we go. There we go. Hit low. Hit high. Get a little bit more in there. Razzle Dazzle Chrome isn't the color I'm seeing right now. Saw drops from the airbrush getting too close. Oh yeah, that is fair. I'm definitely not paying attention to the airbrush cup at all. I'm just kind of going, yeah, I'm the old Razzle Dazzle. If there was actually a color named Razzle Dazzle, I'd have to get it just for the name. Okay. So, he's pretty decently primed up, and you can now see some of the detail on him. Once again, these are going to look great once I actually get the Zenithal Prime on top of them. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to be a little more conservative with my airbrush handling, because if I'm getting that close to spilling the cup, then that's not a place I want to be in right now. Ideally, you want to move the mini around the brush, not the brush around the mini. Anywhere I'm missing. There we go. And so hopefully, what that'll do is that'll cover as much of it as humanly possible. So I've been trying for a while now to get my wife into 40K, and she is just aggressively not interested. And I get it, because when I tried to watch a video on how to play 40K, you frequently disagree with Razzle Dazzle is actually a paint color, but it's more of a red, not a chrome. I just like Razzle Dazzle Chrome. You know what? I think I need to make this happen. I'm gonna buy a chrome and I'm gonna add some red ink to it. But I've been trying to get her to play. Just not like forcing her and not trying to really wheedle her into it, but I've mentioned every now and then, you know, do you have any interest in doing 40K, or would you play with me? And she's kind of, no, that's okay, not my thing. We don't have to like the same things, which is fair. She supports my hobby. But one of the reasons why, I think, is because we tried to watch a how to play Warhammer video, and there was just so much involved in every turn that she got overwhelmed and was like, no thank you, that doesn't look fun at all. So maybe with 10th edition being a little easier, I might be able to convince her. Legit Razzle Dazzle Chrome on Tyranids for real? Yeah, that would look really impressive. I have my Tyranids from the Leviathan box, and I ended up painting them to look like the newer Phyrexians from the newer Magic the Gathering sets that came out, I think, last year, with the Phyrexian invasion that happened. And in that version of the game, the Phyrexians got kind of a little bit of a facelift, And since Elish Norn, the White Praetor, was the one leading the charge, they kind of had this red, fleshy underbelly with like bone white armor. And I thought that was a really smart look. So when I painted my Tyranids, I gave them like bone white carapace and gray carapace and like muscly red sinewy underbits. So that is what I had been working with. Did I accidentally bend his staff? No, that's just how it looks. Okay, and the elf lady, who I was positive I was going to break when I was putting her together. But as it turns out, no, it was the old wizard and his beard that I managed to snap. So it is what it is. I think my brush is getting clogged, which is fair. It's starting to get a lot of that nasty buildup on the needle because I broke this needle a long time ago. And instead of replacing it like an intelligent being, I've just been using it over and over again until it is eventually going to hit a critical mass of uselessness. And then I will be forced to replace it. Okay, that's pretty good. Anytime someone mentions bone, I think of the 1/12,000th scale craft world I'd love to see as a 3D print. That would be really cool. Having some of those, like the Aeronautica Imperialis stuff. Did I forget? Oh, man. I'd love to have some of that, not Aeronautica Imperialis. What's that other game called that they have where you play as, like, where like they have a scale version of the Phalanx come out and help you at one point in the game? Battlefleet Gothic. That's what it is. I would love to play Battlefleet Gothic on tabletop and have like an entire freaking craft world take up the dining room table or something. Okay. Let's see. But yeah, when I first got this airbrush, I barely knew what I was doing with it. And while I did try and look up tutorials, it was like, they're only so helpful until you learn by doing, right? So I made a lot of beginner mistakes with this thing, including immediately damaging the nozzle and over-mixing and over-spraying and all the other fun stuff. But over the last year, I've learned a whole I hope they bring Battlefleet Gothic back to the tabletop. It was what first got you into GW. Their lackluster support angers me. Yeah, I mean, you know, they try things, and if they don't sell well, then they stop trying things, which kind of sucks. But, they're all gonna do what they're gonna do. I know that One Page Rules has their own version that they're calling FTL, which has obviously slightly different rules because it's one-page rules. But that was another one I was thinking of getting into, but I only have a couple of friends who can play, and none of them have the time to try and learn yet another new system. You know what I mean? They learned Ninth with me, and they learned One-Page Rules with me, and they learned Kill Team with me. But it's like, I can't ask you to learn another 2 or 3 systems. GW just needs to create a 3D catalog and let's print models from the shop. That would be great. Eventually they're going to have to do something, because even though the 3D printing hobby has still not really gotten out of, you know, enthusiastic hobbyist mode, 3D printing is clearly becoming more of a problem for them. So they're going to have to find a way to monetize it one way or another. Because they can't just keep kind of ignoring the problem and copyright striking it whenever they notice it becoming too blatant. They're going to have to figure out something. At least that's my belief. But I'm also not deluded into thinking that 3D printing is the way of the future, and that GW is going to have to immediately address it, or else they're going to go out of business tomorrow. God, what a freaking cool model. Man, I love these models. Because, I don't know, it took me like 2 years before I finally became competent with my 3D printer. So, given that it was another, you know, $800–900 of investment, I really doubt that anyone's going to go out who plays Warhammer casually and buy themselves a 3D printer. And the people who are whales for Warhammer know that that stuff won't fly in tournaments, so they have no desire for it. It's kind of like the proxy community in Magic the Gathering. They do exist, but they're nowhere near powerful enough or influential enough for Wizards of the Coast to have to change their approach to the game. Gotta remember, they're a business to make money, and 3D printers are out of reach for many of us. It isn't really a problem. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel incredibly privileged that I was able to afford one, but they've got quite a bit of time to figure out how they're going to approach that problem. You know, it's not like what happened with Aardman Studios and the fact that the company that makes the clay that's used for Wallace and Gromit just went out of business because they can no longer get that clay. So the current Wallace and Gromit movie in production is going to be the last one they can make unless they find another supplier of that specific clay. They're not there yet. You'd rather buy a 3D printer than put a lot of them. Yeah, I know, and that's fair. I've been in that process. I will say, as much as I love my 3D printer, Games Workshop plastic is still pretty top flight. But that's all preference, right? That's all preference and degrees of frustration. Like, I know a ton of people who were really frustrated that they're phasing out Firstborn Marines, and I get it, because I like Firstborn Marines a whole lot more than Primaris, but that's also an argument that only a small percentage of players have. So, they're not going to cater to the few when the business clearly tells them to go one way or the other. Resin lines are... Yeah, I can agree to that in a lot of ways, but I'll be completely honest with you, Magic Donut, we're getting to the point that the resin is getting so good that it's almost unnoticeable in some models. And that's really blowing my mind right now, because I have an 8K printer and I have 12K resin, and you've got to almost search for the lines. And given that Games Workshop themselves 3D print their prototypes to make their molds, you're almost getting to Games Workshop quality, just not Games Workshop durability. And that stuff impresses me too. Like I said, I don't think they have anything to fear. They're not going to be suddenly overtaken anytime soon, but the quality is getting better. I put so many hours into printing and have an 8K printer. It's still hard to print with little to no print lines, and in the end, GW plastic resin is definitely superior for now. I feel like in the next 5-10 years, people will be able to print GW quality with an out-of-the-box printer. Unless you add the extra step of making your molds anyway. Yeah, that is true. Freaking cool model. Look at this guy. Okay, let's get Beavis and Butthead, shall we? Actually, do I have a more recently 3D printed sculpt that I can show off? I don't think I do, which is unfortunate, because I've printed some things recently, and they just look absolutely stunning. This guy was printed a little while ago, and he's ugly as sin, because I've washed and cured him and whatnot, but there are only a couple places where you can really see the mold lines on this guy. And so again, it really impresses me how good they're becoming. I have an Elegoo Saturn II, and I had an Anycubic Photon Mono SE was my first one, and I loved it, but between the quality of the prints and the size of the build plate, I wanted to upgrade. So I had a little bit of extra money last year, and I bought the Saturn II, and it's, you know, 1.5 times the size build plate, and it's an 8K printer, and Elegoo software just seems to run a whole lot better than Anycubics. So I've been exceedingly pleased with everything. Okay, once again, absolutely beautiful, fantastic, A+. You'd want a 16x16 plate at least. You were thinking of an Elegoo Jupiter, which I think is like a 12x12, or it might actually be a 16x16. But yeah, the problem at that point becomes like adhesion to the plate, because when you have a build plate that's big,
that's that big, you have the issue of like the plates sticking to the FEP, and then you start coming into problems of you know, bits snapping off the supports because they're still stuck. So there are definitely problems with the 3D printing. Did I really run out of primer right as I finished the last dude I was working on? I am good at my job. Okay, I don't know if any of that was even on screen. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was all up here, wasn't it? That's okay. Okay, one moment. Goodness gracious. Oh! I found a vase that went flying yesterday. I was wondering where that thing went. Let me go ahead and wash out my, my airbrush, and then... Come on. Yep. Oh man, it really stuck. I'm gonna wash off the airbrush, and then I'm gonna go ahead. 750, 900, so... Okay. Ghost, it was good seeing you. Thank you for being here. Have a good rest of your day, okay? Okie dokie. Let me go ahead and clean out my airbrush real quick. Clean out the airbrush. Clean out the airbrush. Okay, airbrush is cleaned out. The next thing that I plan on doing is I'm going to go ahead and actually use... Do I still have it in here? I'm going to use this Night Lord's Blue on top of these guys to give them kind of a dark blue underprime, so that when I go through and hit them with a Zenithal, they're going to have like a dark blue shadow. And that dark blue shadow is going to do a lot of heavy lifting for creating a not just black mini, and helping blend the colors together so that I don't blend into black, if you know what I mean. And yeah, eBay is definitely high risk, high reward. I've been incredibly lucky recently with my eBay purchases, so it really sucks to hear that you've had bad experiences. Okay, let's pour some of you in there, please. Yes, just like that. And let's add some thinner, some airbrush thinner, and a little bit of flow improver. Let's see what we can do with this whole mess. There we go, because I don't need this to be laid on thick. I just need it to get a really good coat. Really good couple of coats. You only trusted sellers with the... Yeah, the whole thing with the private sales, that's always real sketchy. I'm always scared to do that, even face to face, but if I have to do that, I do it in public parking lots, like at the parking lot of the local game store. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hit you with a very light spray of this, because I think I might have watered it down just a bit too much. But we're gonna do this in layers, so you're gonna get a baseline layer of this blue. I don't want to put it on too thick, because I don't want it streaming or bubbling or whatever it is. There we go. And see, I don't know if you can really see it on here, but there's definitely some really great blue gradation that's starting to happen on this model. And that's just going to create some really, really cool shadows when I finally get around to painting these lovely little fellas. And I'm actually trying not to get it real heavy, just enough that it's noticeable on there. Magic. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's do a little bit more. There we go. And see, like I said, just enough blue on there to really sell. And that'll be good. Nice and crispy. So you are going to get that same treatment. We're just going to give you a really quick spray to give you a base that isn't just the black. Nothing too heavy. And then after that dries, then we can go ahead and start really layering on the blue. At least that's the plan anyway. And so this entire model is very clearly not going to be this dark blue. But at the very least, it will create some really cool shadows under the rest of the Mini once I go back and I do my overspray. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. See, kind of the same thing. Get a really nice blue underspray. Okay. Same thing here. Get it all up and down this pillar. Oh, there's a mold line I didn't hit. That's only going to become more and more obvious the more I paint on these guys. Worst part about mold lines, right? Okay, there we go. I'm actually really impressed with how much this paint is showing through the black primer. A moment. Bless me. There we go. Hit it under there, hit it under hair, hit it right there. Get a little bit of it down there. Okay. There we go, same thing. Nice and blue now. Get one of his little friends. I might just have to put like a little crusted dirt down there without any real explanation. See if my buddy Soft Servo sees it, and if he does, if he gets a kick out of it. Get a little bit there, get a little bit there. A little bit in that shadow there, a little bit there, get the face. There we go. Very good, very good, very good. Getting this nice blue tint on here that gives everything kind of that shade of night. Okay, let's get the vampire lady underneath. Get this nice blue. Get the area that she's standing over. Get this nice area too. Get this all underneath. Get under her back because of her hair. Get her hair. Just get everything. It'll be fine. No one will know. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's get it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And once again, nice blue. Okay. Okay, gonna go feed the doggos. Have a good one, Magic. Have a good rest of your evening. a new gun for me vicariously. Fair enough, I guess. Same thing here. Let's go ahead and give him blue undershade over here. And there we go. What a golly. Okay. Okay. I think this will be okay. One thing I do eventually need to do is get myself a better nozzle, because the nozzle I have is too straightforward. Either that or start an LLC and hire me under it in the next 2 years so I can get a green card, then I can buy my own guns and even carry them. I know, right? Okay, let's get the animal collector. Let's get this guy. Okay, let's go ahead and spray him down with this blue. And thankfully, I made a complete guess at this. I had no idea whether this blue was going to show up dark enough on the black primer. And it looks like it turned out okay. Everything is a really nice, dark, rich blue. And that way, when he actually does get hit with the Zenithal Prime, it's going to do a really good job of giving him this great, like, dark look under there. Okay, there we go there. Yeah, that... Honestly, having the brightness pumped up so much on the monitor is really helping me see what I'm missing and what I'm not missing with the brush, because I'm not getting the same level. Like blacksmith, automotive tech, and 3D mesh artist aren't things I get bored under. That is unfortunate, because the last two are fairly in demand, as I understand it. I know that I live in a fairly small city in Virginia. And I can't pass by a dealership without, like, automotive tech wanted, mechanic wanted, appliance side. So there's definitely demand for that kind of work. Unfortunately, I don't know. I think it pays pretty well. Now, what you probably might want to do is you can go on a place like My Mini Factory or like the Purple site and start putting out your own meshes, and if people like them, they'll download them, and if there are any problems with them, they'll tell you, and then you can fix the problems and offer those up for download. So the possibilities are there. Okay, factory rates have degraded to the point that mechanics can't make money on factory work anymore. Fair enough. Yeah, the fact that pace becomes so bloody miserable definitely helps no one. Okay, you're good. Wow. There's so much plastic on this big man that he's substantially heavier than the other villains. And I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and hit, yeah. Right down there. Okay, we're actually going to go a little higher with you to get inside that wolf pelt, so that there's going to be some nice shading caused by the wolf pelt. Okay, that should be pretty good. Get your belt too for good measure. I've always turned my bases into little hoverboards with a big colored marble in the center. Kit bash bases, artless chaos. It's unfortunate that that stuff doesn't pay, because there's definitely a lot of coolness to go there. Okay, so that glue job looks a whole lot better than I thought it was going to. Like I said, his beard broke about right here, and it's a whole lot less noticeable than I expected, given that I essentially just glued it back together with super glue. So the fact that it's not that bad is very encouraging for me. Okay. That, hit 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 it, hit, 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 hit. There we go. Beautiful. So again, just give him a nice blue coat. Super glue is pretty darn good for what it's necessary for. I have found some definite shortcomings with it, one of which is that I can't manage to control the stuff because I have the grace and coordination of a drunk bull elephant. But it does what it can do. And it does it well. That's all you can ask for this stuff. What a neat looking dude. I love the fact that this guy just looks like the worst kind of fop. Just one of those medieval, I say, dear sir, type characters. Fantastic stuff. Okay. Hopefully that looks pretty good. Never knew keeping it dry was actually kind of dumber than not. Missed it and watch it harden like a tack. Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing. I'm grateful for, yeah. From what I understand, the way it works is that it works through the evaporation of the moisture in the area, and that helps it all suck everything together. So if you really want it to dry quickly, just put it next to a fan. Or like you said, just mist it. I've accidentally glued my hands together more times than I can count, and I'm pretty sure that's a pretty common occurrence for anyone who's ever used super glue. Okay, let's see, what can we do here, what can we do here? Make it look relatively decent is what we can do here. There we go. Okay. Instant skin adhesive. I had a friend who used to talk about stuff like that. He talked about using like duct tape when you need to and super glue. It's all incredibly useful for all of those other purposes. Okay, let's hit all of you underneath. You're going to end up being green, aren't you? Because all elves are green. Okay. Spin it around. Hit everything I can. Hit the pillar. Hit the pillar. Actually, given how much Prison Shadow. Okay, there we go. Dark Elves are green? I don't know. I haven't played enough of Age of Sigmar, but I always figured that since she's a forest nature elf, that she's some kind of darker green. Antlers! Yeah, no, these aren't Deldar. These are all Warhammer Fantasy, and they're and since these are the heroes, they're non-chaosy. So, she's supposed to be like one of the nature-based elves. Okay, let's get to the bottom of that gun, which isn't going to matter too much. This gun's just immediately going to get hit with a metallic paint. I don't have the patience nor skill to do non-metallic metal on that thing. Okay. Dildar? No, Deldar. Dark Eldar. I'm sad that you had to come to that conclusion here. Welcome to Ben Repaints, where I ruin your night. Okay. I guess the argument can be made the second half of that sentence is not with that attitude. Let's go ahead and hit the cool priesty stuff. Hit it on top, hit it over there, hit the weapon, hit the helmet, hit her skirt one more time. Hit this one more time, hit the back of that one more, whoops, hit the back of that one more time, and it should be good to go. I thought you were just talking about regular Elder and making fun of the helmets. I mean, that too, but to me they look more like bowling pins than anything else. Which would make them perfect for, perfect opponents for the bowling alley the bowling alley Imperial Guard that we were talking about earlier. Okay. But no, I've heard the Dark Eldar, the Drukhari, I've heard them called Deldar, and so that's where my mind went immediately. I was not thinking about how the Eldar's helmets look a little bit questionable, depending on the... Okay, so that's pretty much done. That right there is pretty much done. They're all good to go, and the next step for me is going to be to spin them around like a top and put some good Zenithal priming on them. So I will be right, depending on the pride of the helmet. Yeah, right? Go ahead and clean up the airbrush. And see if I can get one last layer done on these guys before it's time for me to go to bed. Okay, hit it with some IPA. Hopefully clean it out better. Dissolve some of that paint. There we go with that. Rinse it out one more time with some regular water. Okay, one last step here. Wow, I can't believe it's catching me from all the way over there. The last step that I need to do is I need to go ahead and use the remnants of my pale sand mix, which I use as my warm white. Oh, actually, do I want to do this with a warm white? I feel like, given the rest of the color schemes on these guys, that I want to go with more of a cool color, especially since I'm using that dark blue. So what I think I'm going to go ahead instead is I'm going to use this light gray, which reads more as a cool white when it's sprayed. I might add a little bit of Vallejo just white, and we'll see how that goes. But thankfully, I don't need a whole lot for this. So we're going to give this a shot. I'm experimenting today. I feel squirrely. Today was my last day of work until Monday, so we're going to go ahead and have some fun. Okay, we're going to add just a little bit of Vallejo base white to brighten it up just a little bit further, and hopefully that will play nicely with the rest of these colors, and it will give me a nice dark blue with a nice, or a nice dark blue shadow with a nice warm white, or cool white, zenithal prime. I suppose we will see in a minute. Fill that airbrush thinner. A little bit of that flow improver, which actually worked wonderfully for that last set of stuff I just did. And just to make sure that it's actually clean, it is. Mix all that crap together, and we'll see what we get, shall we? Okay, mixed all together. Good to go. Oh, there we go. Now, the thing that I'm still trying to learn is how to get a really nice, just thin layer on here, because if you pull back too much, then it starts sputtering really bad, and that's not what I want. I want this to barely kiss the model so I can get a nice ultra fine spray, and that's actually what looks like is happening right now, so I can't be too mad at that. Yeah, look at that detail. Look at that detail we got out of that. Heck yeah. Really nice, buttery smooth, A+, good work. Very, very cool. Yay me! Benry Paints is Benry and he paints. Let's see if I can replicate that again with this one. Getting a really nice zenithal here. Really nice, getting really fine spray on this. Exactly what I want. Unfortunately, I'm getting a smidge of spattering, which is not really looking real too great. But thankfully, it's so small and so infinitesimal that you really can't even see it. And that's a-okay. Again, look at that beauteous. Having a fun discussion about what would be in Warhammer 40k in the other Discord. I think the correct answer for everyone is Servitor, but if you want to go further than that and not be sad, then yeah, there's a whole lot of other fun stuff you can look at there. Okay. I said I'm a dimwit, so probably a Chaos Legionnaire. Either that or some of the best Ogrins you can get, right? Ogrins have that great speech pattern. There we go. Clean that out a bit and then get, yeah. Yeah. Just getting that absolutely gorgeous Zenithal Prime. Thank goodness for skill and luck. I mean, like, look at that. Look at how much detail we're getting in this. I'm so happy with that. Okay, yeah, sound like is very different than act like or be, so my apologies for that jump to the conclusions. Okay, let's see. First of all, I probably got, there it is, so once again, get a nice pale filter on this. Come on. There we go. Wait a minute, no, it looks like I'm losing some traction here. Let's get some of the dried paint off of the end of my brush nozzle because it's starting to clog things up a bit. Go back to it. Much better. Kind of the same thing here. Oh man, I made a mess again. Okay, but yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. Yeah, yeah. Let's clean that off a bit because I made a mess on my gun. Sorry, the subtleties of airbrush. Sadly, while I sound like a dim-witted leg breaker by vocal tone, I'm not exactly a bass person when it comes to expression. Well, that's fair. We've all got our little idiosyncrasies. Okay, let's see. Can I get this one? Yeah, yeah. Just a little bit of that mist. Gonna have to slow down my waggling of the brush because it's definitely getting a little bit too much. And it's really starting to affect my ability to do these paints. There we go. And the level of detail in these guys, either a Terminator or a heretic. Well, I guess the good news is that I don't think they hear you and immediately think, oh, he's a dullard. They would hear what you're trying to say, and depending on that, they would be able to figure it out. Come on, come on, come on. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this guy again. Once again, this beautiful, cool mist is now surrounding. God, what a freaking great look. I'm so happy with how these things are turning out. A+. Same kind of thing here, just a little bit. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, we don't want to leak. We don't want to leak. Not on the old guy. Don't leak on the old man. There we go. His turned out pretty good without a whole lot of effort. The Force Worshipper of a new Chaos God, the Chaos Emperor. All hail the new man emperor of mankind. Okay, I really don't want to screw up this guy, given that he's the primary antagonist of this whole game. So let's go ahead and make sure. Okay, that's better. Whoops, just a little bit of a press to get that little bit of pressure. Filter through that blue. That's all I'm asking for. Filter through that blue. There we go. That's a good look. That's a good look. Okay. Let's go here. They'd probably glass the world to kill me if I was actually channeling the Emperor. Yeah. Yeah, they don't like that. I mean, Gilliman's all kind of livid about it. And if it's Chaos, if it's Coas, they'd just be like, nope! And press the Cease to Exist button. There we go. Yeah, I'm hitting that with a really nice, vibrant spray. Perfect. Look at that. Look at how much detail they managed to get into this sculpt. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Absolutely beautiful. I think the best thing about this is if I ever get tired of playing my goodness, Cursed City, and I just really decide that I'd rather just have some cardboard cutouts to represent the characters and whatnot, I could just go ahead and make a really cool diorama about this. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and that go straight down because I still want to get that nice heavy shading. I don't want to lose that. I almost did just now. There we go. If you got reincarnated, you know exactly what to do. Yeah, that is always fun to think about. Okay, let's get this lad here. Let's see what fun things I can do with him. Okay, this one I'm going to keep at a fairly steep angle because I want to keep the heavy shading on him since he's just got some really cool posing going on. So if I just hit him with like a top-down zenithal spray, I'll be able to keep some of that. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Okay, there we go. How do you encounter a world like that and not immediately dedicate yourself to becoming a god? I know, right? Okay, what's going on here? You have clogged up the flow. The flow improver is not improving my flow. So let's go ahead. Hit the vampire. Oh, look at that. Her face came back out. That's okay. Not a huge deal. I'm still going to find a way to make her look real good anyway. It'll be great. It'll be fine. There we go. Once again, you can see there's some really great shading happening with these models now. And I am almost done. And once I am done, it'll be bedtime. It is 9:42 for me. So we're starting to get to that point. I need to go upstairs and take the dog out and head off to bed. Which I will do after I finish hitting these models, because I am getting so close to done. Okay, that one's good. Okay, so I'm assuming this one is the leader, based on the fact that he's got the most impressive base. Okay, once again, got some really good contrasty shading there. This is like poo-poo duty, knock no sentience face. Eventually, not now. I'm gonna have to go back to doing that soon, but not quite yet. Okay, let's go ahead. Hit this little guy. Once again, getting nice. Okay, that's a bit too much. I was about to say getting nice, very subtle changes here, but then it decided to explode on me. But still, very good shading there. Very good. Okay, final one. All of them at a prime. which means all of them will be good for me to... Come on. Nope, nope. Okay, well, hopefully that's going to be... Yep, that was definitely good enough. It knocked something loose. So I can go back here and hit these guys with just the just the slightest of mists. I say as I hit them with more than just the slightest of mist. There we go. Oh yeah, your rat friend. Let's get your rat friend too. There we go. Perfect. And now he's all done too. Eventually I will go back and I will get the Varg skier. Would I say that my white stuff is coming out aggressively? Well, I mean, look at the stain that it left on my painting booth. All that white stuff just immediately, like, right out. Way too powerful. Okay. And then I'll have to do him eventually, too. But again, he's on the wrong base, so I'll figure that out later. That'll have to happen on another day. Those guys are done. I'm going to wash this out. And then I will be good to go. So, actually, I think I'm going to call it now. That way I don't just have wasted footage of me washing out my paint cup. Thank you. Need to be in the right mood to do him. Yeah, I'm not feeling it right now. You know, it's leaking everywhere. It's making messes all over my painting booth. It's clogging, so there's all that built-up pressure. I just don't feel it today. Okay, well, have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining me on this stream. I'm going to try and be on more frequently. I don't think I'm going to make it for kind of the rest of the week because of Thanksgiving, but normally I'm trying to get on stream after I get back home from work, so that would be like 4:30 to about 6 Eastern Standard Time. And on Tuesdays that might change simply because my wife has her D&D game, so I have more time to be down here. That being said, have a great rest of your evening. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.